YouTube, what's going on, man? What's happening, man? It's your boy Ink in the Brain, man. We back at it like a bad habit. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in. Feel me? If this is your first time on my channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you like the video, be sure to hit the like button as well. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I met a guy in prison who killed his parents. And then I'm going to also talk about what happened to the white blood that I was in transit with. All right? This is for educational purposes only, not to glorify prison or being a gangster or whatever the hell you want to take it as, right? This ain't for that, man. This is just for y'all to learn from my previous experience of me doing 2 years in the penitentiary, all right? Because there's a lot of teachable moments in my bid. This is why I'm here sharing them with y'all, all right? So make sure to hit that like button, man. All my views are from a short Thomas perspective, you feel me? I'm not a gangster, none of that. You know, I just fell into a shitty situation which sent me to the joint. All right, so boom. So in my first couple months I'm on the 3 yard still. All right, I haven't even we still on the 3 yard, right? So my first couple months, man, I'm just getting used to being locked up, basically. My first 3 weeks, I didn't get a TV. So basically all I'm doing is reading books and just basically learning my environment for my first 3 weeks. I didn't have a TV, which is extremely boring, by the way. But it's actually a great way to get adjusted to the penitentiary system, to not have a TV, because you actually really learn what doing time really is, man. It's actually real easy for anybody to get a TV and just do time doing TV. But anyway, so I'm spinning the yard, man. I'm working out every day. I'm doing 2-a-days once a week. And then I'm working out once a day, every day. So I'm going crazy, man. I'm on the yard going crazy. And I'm spinning the yard. And I used to see this white boy spinning the yard. He always running laps. And he always working out like crazy, too. He got real long hair. Real cut body. You know what I mean? Body solid, everything, right? Pause. But I'm just saying, though. Old school cat. I think he was 52 years old. His name was Josh, right? This white boy. Now, to be honest, not on no racist stuff, but on the yard I was up. Well, any high level yard, three is and up, man, it's gonna be hella segregated. So I didn't really talk to many white boys like that, just because I'm black, obviously. So I'm running with the fellas. I'm running with the kinfolk. That's what they call it out here, is kinfolk. So I'm running kinfolk. So it's rare for me to have a conversation with a white boy, but this white boy used to spin the yard, and he had a lot of endurance. His cardio game was on point. You know what I mean? And turns out, this guy has life, right? Now, I didn't know this at the time, but he was a lifer. So what happened was they ended up, and I touched on this in the previous video slightly, but we caught COVID, you know what I mean? So they moved us from building 11 to building 10. Now, when we get to building 10, he moves in the same run with me. So I used to just peep game, you feel me? I used to just peep game, every night. I'm eating good in the joint, fellas. I'm eating good. So every night, I'm eating fat. I'm at the microwave making my rice bowls with tuna and, sausages and all this stuff like that, right? I'm making fat bowls, Thai noodle bowls, all this shit, right? I'm eating good. So every night, I'm at the microwave eating something. And as I'm walking back on my boat, I used to always see him lining up quesadillas. He making burritos and quesadillas on his desk. There's a desk. There's like a real long. No, it's not a desk. It's like a real long metal thing area. It's like your locker right there, and he used to cook right there every day, right? So I'm peeping game like, okay. I'm like, shoot, he cooking every day. He eating fat, and he getting peppers and onions, things like that. So he had a peppers and onions plug and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I was real respected on the yard for working out. That's what I'm known for. Going crazy in the yard, working out, doing crazy push-ups, doing my pull-ups. Like, that's what I'm known for. Like, real shit. On Cheyenne, that's what I'm known for. So one day, he comes up to me. He's like, yeah, man, I see you going hard. What do you want? And we just start chopping it up on the yard. And cool cat, man. He from California too. He from California, and I didn't even ask him because at this point, when I first spoke to him like that on the yard, I didn't ask him about his time or nothing like that, you know. Because honestly, I mean, when it's another race, it's really none of your business, you know what I mean? So I'm really not going to ask another race, you know, oh, what are you in here for? How much time you got, you know? Now, if he was black, I mean, I'd ask plenty of brothers what you in here for, how much time you got, you know what I mean? Because I touched on this in the previous video as well. I have I won't say a passion for law, but at one point in my life, I was trying to get into law school because I wanted to be a lawyer. So I'm real curious about, you know, why people do what they do and the circumstances behind what they do in their cases and things like that. So I wasn't shy about asking a person what they in here for, or tell me about your case, things like that. But with him, I didn't. But yeah, man, so we was chopping it up about working out and stuff, and you know what I mean? And I told him that, yeah, you know, I see you spinning the yard, you know, your cardio game is crazy. He's like, yeah, you know, I've been doing this a long time for a while. You know, he's been down for a long time. So I'm like, okay. So fast forward, right? I'm in the run. Now this is probably maybe 5 months into my bid. I'm kind of fast forward a little bit, right? So I'm in the run, and I'm in the run with Memphis, and I'm gonna do a story on Memphis here soon. But you know, Memphis, he's loud, he's real obnoxious and rambunctious, I guess you could say, but real stand-up individual though. I don't have nothing bad to say about Memphis. But one day, I'm over at his cell, just chopping up with him. You know, you gonna pull up on somebody. You know what I mean? When you cool with them, sometimes you gonna pull up a chair, sit up in his cell, and y'all just gonna chop it up. You know what I mean? Y'all gonna talk shit and swallow spit. Hell, y'all might be talking for 2 hours while you're watching the game. That's just how prison is. You know what I mean? Everybody's trying to pass time. That's the name of the game. So one day I'm posted with Memphis, and he's talking real loud, and he got the music playing real loud. So truth be told, it is kind of disrespectful because Memphis is already very loud in his voice. He's very boisterous in his voice tone, in his voice inflection, and he's always playing music through his earphones real loud. Because in the pen you could get your TV tuned up, so it makes the amplifiers more high, so you can hear the music louder. So, but people deal with it, you know what I mean? Because they know how Memphis is, and truth be told, Memphis is big as hell. I mean, Memphis is like 5'11", 225, 220, 225. He's a big dude, so he's not an easy knockout. He ain't no easy lick. So you fight Memphis, it's gonna be a long day, you know what I mean? So people just kind of took it for the most part. But this one day, Memphis was too loud, and like I said, I was there chilling with him, and Memphis being loud. So Josh, the white boy that I was just referring to, you know, he had an issue with it, and they had a little confrontation, I guess you could say, on the run. It kind of started to escalate to where they was gonna fight, but it didn't quite escalate to that point. But then Memphis is like, oh yeah, man. Well, yeah, man. That's why you in here for killing your parents. What man? You know what I mean? The fuck kind of shit is that, man? You gonna body your parents? He said something along the lines of that, right? And I'm like, damn. And then everybody kind of looked like, what the fuck? I mean, the white boys knew what he was in there for, because you know every race checks everybody's paperwork. You know what I mean? So the white boy, they know what he's in there for, but we don't. Like I said, it ain't our business. So I heard that, I'm like, damn. And then later on, I asked Memphis, I'm like, wait, that's for real? I'm like, bro, really killed his parents? He's like, oh yeah, man. You know what I mean? Man, that white boy, man, he killed his parents, man. Well, I won't get too far into that because I don't know that for a fact, but as far as how he killed his parents. But that's what Memphis said. But Memphis basically said, oh yeah, how he killed his parents. I'm like, damn, for real? I'm like, damn. Come to find out, yeah, man. You know what I mean? He killed his parents, man. So it was very shocking to me just because he was such a cool, down-to-earth guy. He's basically kind of like a hippie. That's the best way to describe his personality from what I could surmise from this guy. He's like a kind of hippie guy, you know what I mean? Kind of like a pothead hippie guy. But killed his parents, man. So yeah, man, you know, when you go to these yards, man, these high yards, or 3 yards, or 4 yards, man, just be aware that when you talking to somebody or affiliating yourself with somebody, And you might not know what they're in there for, man, but they might have done the most heinous shit. I mean, killing your parents, I can't really think of too much things more heinous than that. You know what I mean? Except for like taking advantage of kids or something like that. But yeah, that was crazy, man. So yeah, I'm chopping it up with dude who bodied his parents, man. But his cooking game was on point, man. And he, like I said, he had peppers and onions and everything. But he was doing life. Oh yeah, I'm gonna touch on this too, right? So he caught that when he was a juvenile. So he killed his parents when he was 17 years old. And what happened was they gave him life in prison for doing that when he was a juvenile. And recently, there is this new statute that came forth saying that it was unconstitutional for juveniles to get life in the penitentiary. So he actually has action right now to this day on getting out. And he was actually putting together a packet to basically to get his freedom. Because he was like 52 years old. Y'all do the math. 17 years old and 52 being locked up for killing your parents is crazy, right? These are the situations that you're going to encounter in the penitentiary, man. And these are the encounters that I've experienced in the penitentiary that lets me know that I'm extremely lucky and thankful to be alive, number one, because in my case, I definitely could have died. I also could have took somebody else's life. So I'm glad that didn't happen. And, it's just crazy, man. I could go on and on about this, but I'll leave that story right there, man. So yeah, he killed his parents, man. And the white blood Balenci, right? Again, if y'all ain't caught up to my previous videos, make sure to do so. But I touched on how I was in transit with a white blood from New York, from Brooklyn, named Balenci. Cool white dude, man, but he basically a black dude culturally. I'll just put it like that. So, because he's in a black gang and things like that, he was like, yeah, he's gonna run with the blacks, right? So this is what happened. So we get to the yard. We actually ended up hitting the same building, but he's in a different run though. So I'm in C run and he's in B run. And we hit the yard. The next day I saw him at PM, right? And everything cool, man. And he's like, and he basically like, yeah, man, you know what I mean? I'm not the type of person to just go off and pop off on anybody for no reason, but if funk gets brought to my doorstep, I'm gonna handle it. That's what he was saying, right? So that's what he was saying on the bus. So I see him like this, the second day I wreck, right? And I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? He's like, oh yeah, man, what's happening, man? What do you want, man? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, the Woods, they already sent a torpedo at me, man, but I knocked his ass out. What do you want? I'm like, damn, for real? It's the second day. Really? So literally, he hit the yard. This is the second day. He already had to sleep a white boy, right? And a torpedo is basically like, a torpedo is like a crash dummy. Like a torpedo is somebody that they just send you to do a mission. You feel me? Like, you'll become a torpedo if, like, say for the white boys, right? Like, if you pull up to a yard and you don't have your paperwork then and there, okay, cool. Well, now you're going to be a torpedo, so you're basically disposable if you don't have your paperwork on deck, right? So this is far as white politics go, right? So the white boys will say, okay, oh, you ain't got the paperwork, that's fine, man. Well, hey, man, if somebody got to get smashed off the yard or they got to discipline somebody or pull somebody up or something like that, you going to have to be on deck because you ain't proved yourself yet, right? So, so they sent a torpedo at him, I guess because whoever the head was, or not the head necessarily, but whoever was running that run for the white boys, I guess they asked him certain questions, and he was basically let them know, like, hey, I'm not running with the white boys, I'm running with the blacks because I'm a blood. So they didn't like that. So basically, sent torpedo, he beat him up. And then I'm like, damn. I'm like, for real, bro? He's like, yeah, man. But it should be straightened out, though. I mean, well, turns out it wasn't straight after that. About, I want to say, maybe about another 2 or 3 days later, 2 or 3 days later, man, I seen, we was going to medical. I think I was going to medical, man. And I seen them walk out Balenci, right? And he had a cast. It wasn't a cast, but it looked like a cast, like on his hand and wrapped around his wrist. And his face was all fucked off, like he had like a black eye. and he had like a split, like basically a cut underneath his other eye. You feel me? He looked kind of fucked up, kind of, you know, got beat up, man. I didn't talk to him though, but I just seen him. They walked him out. Basically, they had to relocate him from that side of the yard to the north side of the yard. So apparently, and I heard from the grapevine from one of the another black dude from Detroit, Supreme. Shout out to Supreme, feel me? But yeah, man. Basically, they sent another 3 torpedoes at him and basically jumped him. You feel me? But from what I heard, Balenci, you know, the white boy, the white blood, he still held his own. But in holding his own, he had broke his wrist and basically got his face messed up, man. But it wasn't too terrible. But you know, he got split and got his shit leaked and, you know what I mean, black eye, things like that. But they transferred him to the other side of the yard. But he didn't tell or nothing though. Like Balenci, he didn't tell on the white boy or nothing like that because they were still, you know. Allegedly, the white boy, you know, they're still on the run. You know what I mean? I know exactly who actually did it, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, basically that's what happened to White Blood, man. You know, he knocked out the first torpedo that tried to rush him, but then they sent 3 more at him and jumped him, broke his wrist and things like that. All behind running with the blacks, right? That's is what it is, man. So hey, man, you might be a white boy gay banging and think you can run with the blacks in the joint, man. Hey. If you're on the West Coast, man, just know you're going to have some issues with it, man. But still hold your own, though, and stand on your 10 toes, you feel me, regardless, man. I'm going to leave it at that, man. But, hey, it's your boy Ink in the Brain, man. If you haven't hit the like button if you haven't hit the like button on the video, make sure to do that. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Y'all be smooth and be solid.